Imagine your next door neighbor decides, I'm going to build a ginormous boat. Not a normal size boat, but a massive boat. It's the size of 1.5 full-size football fields. 7 stories tall. And that is 3/4 the size of the Titanic. Now, also imagine that you live in an extremely dry and desolate place that never gets any rain. And then your neighbor, he says and tells you it's going to rain and it is going to flood. Everything will be destroyed. And he is going around and he's telling everyone it is going to rain and destroy all of the people and all of the animals. Are you going to accept that and be like, oh yeah, I understand? Or are you going to look at him and be like, you are a crazy person? Hello, welcome back to Signing Spiritually. I'm excited to have you here today. Today we are going to be learning about who was Noah. So who is this man named Noah? What did the world look like when he was growing up? How did he have so much faith and trust in God? Noah, he was a man and he lived thousands of years ago. Noah was really old. He became a father at the age of 500. That is extremely old. And he had 3 sons. His first son was named Shem, his second, Ham, and his third, Japheth. Now, Noah, he was living during an extremely tumultuous time here on earth. There was just a lot of bad things that were happening and going on. A lot of sinful things, a lot of murders, just bad things in general that were happening. One big difference between his time and the modern day is that there were these people known as the Nephilim. And I'm going to do a discussion more in depth later on about these people known as the Nephilim. But simply put, these people, in the past, there were angels that would come down here on earth. And these angels, they decided that they wanted to have children with the women here on earth. So these kids, they were actually half angel. And these people, the Nephilim, they were part human and part angel. And each of these people during the time that lived here on earth, they all had evil thoughts and wishes and desires. And God, he looked down here at the earth, at his creation, and was sad and heartbroken at everything that he saw. He felt awful about making the people here on earth. And God decided that he would destroy all of creation by sending a flood and rain waters to sweep over the earth. But there was one man, and this man was named Noah. And God looked down favorably upon Noah and saw that he was a good man. And God decided that he would protect Noah. In the Bible, it's in the book of Genesis, and it's in chapter 6, verses 9 through 10. But it describes Noah as being a good and righteous man. And Noah was blameless against all of the people and in God's eyes. And also, he was extremely faithful and walked with God. He had an extremely good relationship with God. And God warned Noah, and he told him, God was planning to destroy the world, the whole world, all of the people, and all of the animals as well. Because the world was full of wickedness and hatefulness, and people killing each other, It was an awful time and horrible things were happening. So God told this man, Noah, you need to build a boat. And he called it an ark. It is a massive ship. And God told Noah that. And God explained to him the specifics of how to build. He described it in detail, how big, what size he needed, the height, all of the different dimensions. And we're going to be looking at the ark and the construction of the boat later on. Some people here on Earth today, they actually built a life-size replica of the ark from the Bible. So what they did is they read through the different scriptures that described how to build the ark, and then they actually put it into practice. So they read it and they built it. It is absolutely incredible. I'll put up some pictures here from the Ark Museum. You can see it's just absolutely massive. And they actually have an event known as the Death Days where they have interpreters at the Ark encounter. So God, He made a promise. It is known as a covenant. And He made a promise with Noah. That promise was that God would save not only Noah, but also his family. So He would be saving Noah's wife and his 3 sons, along with his sons' wives. That group of people, they would be allowed to enter into the ark, and they would be safe inside. God would also send each kind of animal in pairs to go and march towards the ark to enter in. And God, He told Noah to get every kind of food that is used for eating and store it up. Noah, he obeyed God. He worked hard building the ark himself, and his sons may have helped him as well. But for 100 years, he continued to work and build this massive ship. He would cut down trees and saw them and just continue to build this extremely massive ark. Now that is absolutely incredible, his obedience to the covenant. And when Noah finished building the ark, God told him to gather up 7 pairs of every kind of clean animal, as well as 7 pairs of birds and 1 pair of every unclean animal. And we're going to discuss later the meanings of clean versus unclean animals and what those differences are. So God told Noah, in 7 days, it's going to begin pouring rain, and it will begin flooding for 40 days, and the waters will rise up and the earth will flood. And when the earth floods, everything will be destroyed, all of the people and all of the animals. So Noah, he obeyed God and entered into the ark. And all of his family and all of the animals went together inside of the ark. When they all finished entering within the ark, then suddenly the sky opened up and poured down rain. The water burst from beneath the earth's surface and began flooding the earth's surface. Everything began to be flooded, and everything here on earth was destroyed. But Noah and his family, as well as all of the animals on that ship, were safe. We're going to be looking later more in depth about the scientific evidence that supports the evidence for the flood. But for right now, we are just going to be discussing the basics. So the earth was flooded for 150 days as it continued to rain and flood. Later on, eventually, the water slowly began to recede back into the Earth's surface, and the boat began to sink along with the flood waters, and eventually the ship became rested on a mountaintop. It became rested on the mountain known as the Mountains of Ararat. And the waters were still flooded, and so Noah, he had to wait about 3 months before the waters receded enough to see other mountaintops. So now the other mountaintops were visible, and he was able to look around and see them. So Noah, he waited 40 more days. And then after the 40 days, he opened a window that he had built in the ark and released a raven to go search. And the ravens, these are these blackbirds. He sent them out to go search the earth and look to see if the earth had dried up yet. Then, later on, Noah, he sent out and released a white bird known as a dove. He sent it out to go and search once more to see if there was any dry land. And as it was looking to see if the water had receded on the earth, the dove returned back to Noah because there were no trees for the bird to make a perch on. So Noah, he waited again 1 more week, and then finally he tried again and released the dove. As he released the dove into the air, it began searching. And then later that night, the dove returned to Noah, but this time it had in its beak a leaf, and the leaf was from an olive branch. It was a fresh leaf. So Noah, he waited 1 more week, and then he tried again. He released that dove 1 more time to go fly out and search for dry land. But the dove never returned. It had been about 1 year since the waters burst through the hole of the earth and the rain poured down and the earth flooded. So it had been about 1 year since that had started. And God told Noah, "Hey Noah, you can finally go outside of the ark." So Noah and his family and all of the animals that were on that ship, they all left outside of the ark. And they walked around and looked at the new world. And they started to have little families and little children of animals and families. So Noah, he built and set up a place to honor God, and it's called an altar. Noah used this altar to honor God. He offered God a burnt sacrifice. Noah went around and gathered some of the clean animals to use for this sacrifice, to honor God and thank Him for His faithfulness. And God promised Noah that He would never destroy the earth again. And so what God did to show that promise was God placed within the sky a rainbow full of colors. And now every time after it rains, a rainbow appears in the sky to show us and remind us and to remind God of His promise to never destroy the earth again. So this rainbow is absolutely beautiful, a beautiful promise that reminds us of God's faithfulness and that He will always take care of us and always love us. No matter what happens, Noah, he continued living for about 350 more years after the flood took place. And Noah, he passed away around the age of 950 years old. Noah, his life was full of obedience and faithfulness and trust in God, trusting His plan and trusting in his promises. Noah trusted in God's plan even though other people thought that he was absolutely crazy. And he still had faith, and he still trusted in God and his promises and his truths. Noah followed God's calling on his life. I hope to have as much faith as Noah did, to be able to trust in God and trust in his plan for my life, even though I may not be able to understand it. So still have that faith in God that he will take care of everything, to trust in God that he will take care of us and take care of our futures. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you have any questions about Noah, or if you want me to discuss another person from the Bible. You can comment those down below. If you enjoyed this video, you can leave a like. And if you want to learn more about the Bible, you can subscribe. If you felt like this video helped you understand Noah better, you can share with your friends and family. Remember, love like God loves you. Bye! Love you!